Hello, this is the Lord's Legion and welcome to another countdown. And in this video we're going to be counting down the top 10 Injustice 2 newcomers. And by newcomers I mean all the characters who are going to be introduced into Injustice 2. And before you ask, this will only include all the characters who are going to be released at launch. Therefore, Darkseid will not be on the list because he is an exclusive. If he was to be on the list, then he would be at number 0 because he is in his own league. So without further ado, let's begin with the countdown. So kicking off the list, we have Gorilla Grodd. Now Gorilla Grodd is so interesting on so many levels. For starters, Gorilla Grodd is going to be the leader of a new third-party alliance, which is of course the Society, and will also be one of the main players in the Injustice 2 storyline. And in the story, Gorilla Grodd is so hell-bent on trying to destroy both the regime and the insurgency. Not to mention that Gorilla Grodd is going to be such a beast when it comes down to gameplay, because not only does he have all the brute force, but he also has his telekinesis. In other words, Grodd is more or less Goro mixed with Ermac, and that is one deadly combination. Coming in at number 9, we have Black Canary. Now, admittedly, Black Canary was one of these characters who I wasn't really so fussed about at first, but as soon as I saw her announcement trailer and seen some of her gameplay, I am pretty much won over. Because Black Canary is going to be one of the very up close and personal type characters, and not only that, you could also make the opponents keep guessing on what Black Canary's next move is going to be, and then she could just pretty much trick everyone. Plus, she has a very good use in terms of her sonic screams, and what I've heard from everyone that played the beta version of Injustice 2 is that Black Canary is one of the best characters from the roster, which has me all the more excited if I'm honest. Coming in at number 8, we have Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was one of these characters that I was praying to have in Injustice 2, and I'm so happy that he's finally in there. And as far as I'm concerned, his moveset does not disappoint me in the slightest. He can do all sorts of crazy stuff by turning his hands into blades, as well as turning one of his hands into a mace. He could also shoot projectiles, Mega Man style, and could even do some crazy throws in which he can send people flying in the air. Now what excites me most about Blue Beetle is the fact that you could do so much with the gear system. And out of all the gear that I've seen so far, Blue Beetle has the most interesting out of everyone in the Injustice 2 roster. Coming in at number 7, we have Captain Cold. Captain Cold looks like a ton of fun, and I'm so glad that he isn't entirely a Sub-Zero clone. But not only that though, you can do a lot of crazy things when it comes down to Captain Cold's ice gun. You could create an ice shield, only to just use it as a projectile. You could also summon some icicles. You could also do some amazing combos while the enemy is frozen. And to top it all off, Captain Cold has one of the most insane supers I have seen in this game thus far. And I just can't wait to see what you can do with Captain Cold. Coming in at number 6, we have Atrocitus. Now from what I've heard, Atrocitus sounds like he's going to be a major player when it comes down to the Injustice 2 storyline. Which is really good because Atrocitus is probably one of the most underrated DC villains of all time. And his moveset is no laughing matter at all. Because in a similar vein to Gorilla Grodd, Atrocitus can't rely on his brute force. But along with that, Atrocitus could also summon a pool of blood from the ground. He could also use his constructs from his ring and create some blades. Not to mention that he could also use his iconic Rage Plasma Spule, or he could use his Inner Rage and increase his strength. The best thing of all is that he could also summon his little cat known as Dexstar, and with Dexstar he could also shoot out projectiles whenever he feels. So coming in at number 5, we have Scarecrow. Now I'm one of these people who was so guilty on saying that we don't need Scarecrow because we have too many Bat villains already, but after seeing some of his gameplay, I have never been so happy to be wrong in my life. Because this version of the Scarecrow is so insane. His design looks wicked, he is voiced by Robert Englund, which is a huge plus. His super move is very Arkham influenced, which is also a huge plus. His skills with a hook is so good that it even gives Lobo a run for his money. And he can even use his fear toxins through a number of ways. And I almost forgot he can also teleport for whatever reason. And out of all the characters in Injustice, Scarecrow is hands down the most brutal I have seen thus far. So coming in at number 4 we have Firestorm. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I know little to nothing about this character. But honestly, I didn't know what to expect with this character. After seeing some of the gameplay for Firestorm, I am completely won over. Because you could do so much stuff when it comes down to Firestorm, because he can be both a projectile heavy character as well as being up close and personal. And plus he also has his little radiation meter, and that the more you use it, the more powerful he becomes. Plus he could shoot fire, or he could just trap people from the ground. Plus he can turn himself into a fireball and just fly around the stage. Or he could do his amazing grabs and just scorch people. And plus Firestorm's super move is up there as one of the greats. Coming in at number 3 we have Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing to me is one of these characters who should have been there since the first Injustice game. However, I'm glad that he has finally made it into Injustice 2. And boy, his moveset does not disappoint. Because he can do a lot of crazy grabs, whether it comes down to his roots or he could just summon his other clones. And although Swamp Thing is a melee character, he could also go through long range as well. Whether he could turn his limbs into branches or summon his own clones to deal extra damage. And let's not forget his super is so amazing to watch and perfectly captures the character of Swamp Thing. And I can't forget about some of his gear because Swamp Thing has one hell of a variety. Coming in at number 2 we have Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is another one of these characters who I'm so pumped to see because they pretty much nailed the character from top to bottom. His design is great, his gear looks very promising, his voice is spot on. And he has such variety when it comes down to his gameplay because he is one of the most unpredictable characters in this game. Dr. Fate has about 10 different types of projectiles to choose from, which makes him the perfect zoning character, and even if you want more firepower or more variety, Dr. Fate could summon the Dark Arts, which will make him all the more powerful. And of course, seeing his super in which he drags his opponents into his own realm, that is some top-notch stuff right there. And finally for number 1 we have Brainiac. Honestly, I'm so pumped to see Brainiac because there's so much you could do with this character. Not only that, he is the main villain for the Injustice 2 story mode, so I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with him. And as of recording this video, we know little to nothing about Brainiac. Not only do we not know much about his details when it comes down to his role for the story mode, but we also have no idea on how Brainiac is going to play as a character. And in my eyes, this makes Brainiac all the more exciting, and I can't wait to see what NetherRealm is going to do with Brainiac. Especially because Brainiac is my number 1 favourite Superman villain of all time, and honestly I just want to see this character done justice. So who are you excited to play as most when it comes down to the newcomers of Injustice 2? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video, please like and subscribe, take care and have a good one.